everyone, welcome back to the final round of wheel-to-wheel racing for Season 7. We're here at the Nordschleife 24-hour track for our Super Enduro of the season. Tonight in the commentary box joining me is Just Kingston.
How you going, everyone? Alright, and also on visuals we have Fine Moves.
Hey guys, how we doing? Should be a good one. Final round.
Should be really good. A lot of things to be decided in this round, and I think we'll be underway shortly.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
Quick squiz at the leaderboards. Let's bring up the...
In the Premier League, it looks like most the top positions are settled, but from 5th to 8th, we've got a nice battle going on for the top points of that little group to hold on to 5th. All the guys separated by less than 100.
And the D-League's pretty tight, isn't it?
Yeah, D-League also up for grabs tonight with KZ and Tate, who are both in here, separated by just 79 points. So, a lot to play for at the moment as we get underway.
All right.
We'll see how everyone gets off the line here. I feel like... I feel like keeping an eye on Tate could be interesting here to see how he gets off the line compared to the Corvette that's known to launch really well.
Yeah, definitely. I reckon Adam's going to have a very good run into that T1, especially having the inside. Oh, correction, outside. I'm all back to front up here.
Go.
They
Plenty
are
of wheel
away.
spin. See Apex already
Apex
getting
on a
past
good
Tate.
jump.
Tate's might drop back to 6th place here. He's going to hold 5th. He's given Showman a little bump as they go 3 wide into turn 2, which is very dangerous, but Showman's going to hold off that spot. Tate's going to slot into 4th.
Adam's had a very good launch away, and Apex is just running after him now.
Absolutely. They one of the big strengths of that Corvette. Looks like everyone's settling into position, bombing that beautiful train that we know so well. I think we've got Squidly that's stuck on the outside of the train at the moment, side by side with Figo back in 11, looking up the inside. Doesn't look like he's going to do it, but he might hold the position off from Oil. Oil could try and follow Figo through. No, they're all going to slot into line as it's very difficult to go through the Schumacher S's side by side here.
Actually, just quickly for the viewers, so in the bottom right-hand corner, we've got Pure Axel's dash cam of his race. So he wasn't in this lobby, obviously, this week, but we've got his race from last week down there, so we can compare that with our race leaders if we need to.
Yep, should be...
Adam V is ahead slightly, by the looks of it.
2 seconds, Adam's already jumped out too. Over the field too. Showman looking around the outside of Apex. Tough corner to do it around the outside there as it's off camber, and being on the inside really helps you get around it.
Yeah, definitely. It's sort of now going on to the Nordschleife section. It's definitely just want to sit there and hang on the back of Apex, and you can pretty much just make that move down the back straight. It's probably the only safe place to do it on this entire track.
Yeah, there's a couple of spots where the opportunity is going to pop up, but it's whether you're brave enough to take it, and if you trust the other cars enough to get it done.
Yeah, exactly.
Plays a big part in it. But as we look back down through the field, everyone is nose to tail from, I think, 5th down to 13th. Nothing separating them.
Yeah, 8 seconds all the field is separated by from last to first. That's very good coming into this first section. I know during our race, I think we got to the front of the Nordschleife, and it was a Pure Axel was already 5 seconds ahead of second. At that point.
Sounds like Pure Axel.
He was not waiting around for us.
So it looks like Showman has gotten... he's behind Apex, but Apex very keenly is on the mediums at the moment, getting them out of the way. While Showman decided to run the soft tyre off the start. Adam also deciding with them soft tyre, and he's already out to a 3.5 second lead over Apex, and Showman just losing so much time here.
Yeah, that's It's an interesting strat, man. Get the mediums out of the way and make it tough for everyone behind you.
Yeah, it is strange, but usually like try and start on the best ones. You can, but he's doing pretty well. Like, granted, Adam's just making an absolute beeline for the finish line as it is, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, only 4 cars through the field running them softs off the start. So we've got Adam in first, Showman in third running the softs, Jonesy in fifth, also deciding to go with the softs, and Troy, who has fallen back down into 13th after what I'm assuming is a mistake, also on them softs at the moment. So it's a rough way to start, especially if you're going with the softs and dropping all the way back to the field.
Yeah, definitely. But luckily, if he has had an off, then there's no damage. So that's the worst part of this entire race, is if you get damage, especially in this first few sectors, it can really ruin your entire race. Speaking from experience.
Got a nice little battle going on for 6th here, as Shan's is closely followed by KZ and the captain. Defco not too far behind them either.
Yeah, on board with Stefco, so he's got a good view of this action ahead. Yeah, low side. He's
got a little squirrely out of there, but he's made the run. The Alpha's struggling a little bit on that top end speed, and he's got the inside for this right-hander. KZ's going to slot back in front though, later on the brakes. And they reset back into this 4-person battle as Jonesy and Tate break away at the front, and FIGO drops off the back a little. This is where we'll really see who's having to try the hardest to fuel save as well, which guys are going to be down on top end speed the most. Captain is not looking like he wants to stick around there.
Squidly was trying to go on the outside of Oily there, just at the beginning of that back straight.
Captain is taking every look that he can on KZ here, so definitely feeling like he's being hindered by him.
That back straight is one of probably the most scariest places to overtake on this track. It looks like it's really good, but the amount of times there's just little bumps and stuff that will just throw your car around. It's just crazy. It's it seems to just move as the race goes on. It's okay, I can hit this bump, and then next lap's where'd that bump go? Oh, it's 3 meters that way. And so is your car. I love this track. I love it for the pain.
Looks like back up in that battle for second, Apex has been able to break Showman a little bit here, and he's got out to a 1.5 second gap, even with them medium tyres, and has fallen 6 seconds behind Adam. So Adam definitely making the most of starting on that front row here.
This is definitely the area of the track that the Porsche is strongest in, that really twisty area. You can just plant it and just send the car. The Master I found was very squirrely through this whole section. And so it would just remove a little bit of that confidence from you, so you don't attack the corners as much as you normally would.
Yeah, the Corvette suffers from a lot of understeer through these fast sweeping corners as well, being as heavy as it is. So that Porsche is definitely a strong point through here. Showman is making up ground though, probably due to those soft tyres, but still making up the ground regardless.
Yeah, you'll start really reeling that in down that back straight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. That battle for 6th still very close. Captain is he's practically imprinted on that rear bumper of the Alpha at this point. 7 minutes into the race, and I think he's been on it the entire time. A little earlier on the brakes, pulls it into the apex nicely as well. So I don't think he'll get the chance to make the pass on the straight here either, as KZ has the slipstream of that Supra, which we know can absolutely pull along in a straight line. Whether he decides to use the power or fuel save is another question though. Oh, Captain's got up the inside. Oh, he clipped a bit of grass and he's lost the slipstream of the Supra as well. So coming back for round 2 here, Stefco lurking in the background could get a double pass done here if he plays his cards right as well. Looks like he's actually dropping off as Captain is going about 280 and pushing that Alpha up the hill. KZ absolutely just sticking in the slipstream of Shan's, making sure he doesn't lose that position. Here comes the overspeed right towards the end of this section too.
Oh,
beautifully done by KZ
nice.
to make the move and to get a car between himself and Captain, who has been very aggressive on his rear bumper.
I reckon that little bit of a push has pretty much just assisted KZ and kind of gone the opposite of what Captain was trying to do. Shane's is straight in the pits.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I wonder how many people are going to be going with the one lap on the mediums here, so Shan's deciding on it. But I think the push that Captain gave KZ was definitely a part of it, but the bigger part was just the wall of speed that you hit coming up that hill.
Oh, someone's gone wide.
Without the slipstream.
In the background there, was it
It's Troy.
Troy again.
Troy in 12, unfortunately.
Just got to replay that.
Yep, jumping on board.
Here we go, on board with Troy. He's got Oily behind him on his outside. Troy brakes a bit late. That's what's happened. Didn't see a bump there, but yeah, he's gone off into the
So maybe trying to defend a little hard and brake in later than he normally would. Looks like Stefko has dropped back a little bit too. He's been passed by Figo and dropped well off of that pack of KZ and the Captain. Unsure what's happened there.
Shane's is back out of the pits, running the softs now. Hasn't fueled up all the way, so he's definitely not going for a full stint by the looks of it.
No, so I'd expect a 2-lap stint out of Shan's with about 85% fuel, I'd say, in there. That's it's about where the Corvette can get by as well, by shifting about halfway up the rev gauge and just going flat out. So I'd expect to see Shan's in each 2 laps from now until the end, unless he decides to change it up. What happened? It looks like Tate has gotten dropped by Jonesy as well at some point. So looking at the lap times, it happened last lap, possibly on that long straight as they were nose to tail throughout most of the Nordschleife, and that Lexus just having the better handling and being the better car for the track, but Tate falling back into the clutches of KZ and the Captain, who are inseparable at the moment. Also, Adam with an opening lap of an 8:09.6 is ridiculous.
This is extremely impressive. What do you reckon the fastest lap might be for this one?
Damn, he's killing it.
I mean, at that rate, I would have to say it's going to be an 8:06 or something along those lines. That is. Oh, KZ's got the run on Tate here. Oh, Tate tries to cover him off last second. KZ gets some grass and loses a spot to the Captain. Dirty tyres too, unfortunately. Avoids the damage.
Mike, we just kind of missed that on stream. Who would be good to jump on with a replay there?
The captain's view of that one would be pretty good, I reckon.
Let's do it. Right, here we go. On board with Captain. He's behind KZ and Tate. Coming down that straight. Oh, KZ off into the grass, and he's got a great run on Tate, but no, can't get that one done. But yeah, nice move.
Oh, Tate's gotten loose. Whoa, that was. And there goes that spot back to KZ for Tate. I don't know if we want to jump on with another replay of that. He got loose coming out of a corner and barely avoided it.
Everyone's been extremely lucky at the moment. Absolutely no damage. Touch wood on that one.
Oh
yeah.
Man, he just got on the gas a bit early in that turbo.
Yeah, there's those Nissans can be quite vicious around here with the amount of power that kicks on when that turbo lights up. But unfortunately for Tate, that loses him the spot to KZ. He now has Figo close behind and Stefko not too far off of him. So looks like the top half of the field has all spread out a little, kind of finding their feet. Adam out to an 11-second lead. Apex has 3.7 seconds over Showman. Showman's about 2.5. He's dropping time fairly quickly, now down to 2.1 seconds over Jonesy. The captain 4 seconds behind Jonesy, and then we have that battle pack of KZ, Tate, Figo, and Stefko, who's dropping back a little bit off of that. Figo looking aggressive on the rear end of Tate here, though. Oh, Tate parking the car right in the middle of the track. There's not much you can do when someone does that. Oh, interesting. So Tate gave a quick flash of the hazards to apologise for sitting the car in the middle of the track, and Figo downshifted to 5th and decided against making the move there. So, interesting.
Oh, he's right on the back of Tate. No damage, though.
A little bit of a how you get on there.
Yeah.
No damage, but making sure he knows he's there. Even showing the nose coming into the carousel, but he takes some grass as he does so. Costing himself more than he's costing Tate at the moment, unfortunately, and now he's got that purple Porsche of Stefko coming up to his rear bumper.
So as it stands, if we finish the way we are, it looks like Jonesy will end up taking out Div 2 from Troy, who's not having the best of races at the moment.
Yeah, Troy and Jonesy have had amazing pace here throughout the couple weeks of practice and stuff. Definitely the top guys in Div 2, but man, that battle's definitely, it's still up for grabs as well. Only, I believe, 54 points separating them.
54.
And then Ando 787, who's in the Div 2 lobby later tonight, also not too far off of them. Less than 100 points behind Troy, so a good result from any of them could mean positions are going to be changed, and could mean a fair bit for the top spots of that division.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting one to see once all the results come in.
Definitely. That looks like that battle for 7th with Tate is still the hot spot to be. There's Figo and Stefko just hanging on. Stefko dropping out of that slipstream range slightly through the high-speed section. Oily has actually caught up to Stefko quite quickly there as well. So we've got 3 GTRs and a Porsche. Currently, I would be scared to be that Porsche as you're coming up to one of the longest straights in motorsports here. And he's getting loose onto it too, so... He's dropped out of the slipstream with the 2 Nissans ahead, and he has a very green one looking pretty aggressive behind him. Really nice and cautious through this right-hander. I was speaking to him earlier, and he said he's definitely decided to take it easier through there after his qualifying, as that ended his 2nd and 3rd attempt. Figo absolutely flies past Tate. Tate tucks back in, could have a 2nd attempt.
Oily straight through as well.
Back. Let's see if Tate can stay tucked in as we have Adam ducking into the pits. Tate might be able to get enough of a run to get back past. It looks like he's actually decided to fuel save and bump up that fuel map in the slipstream instead. So the tactics are already starting as we have Apex into the pits as well. And the captain, so not many deciding on going for that 3-lap stint off the bat. Showman taking our race lead in the Mazda, going for 3 laps though.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting just chatting with you before the stream kicked off, Super Dragon, about how the longer pit times have allowed these 3-lap stints, whereas, a couple of seasons back it was pretty much unheard of.
Saving the time it would take to save fuel for that 3rd lap was 100% not worth it back when the pit stops was only 6 seconds, but with you not getting into the pit stall until I believe about 19 or 20 seconds definitely adds the 3rd lap into play.
Okay, so Shands with his early pit has come out ahead of Apex.
Yeah. Apex
Nice
has got his mediums over and done with those, so that's definitely something to keep an eye on.
True.
He's also fueled up 100%, so I wonder if he's going to start changing the strat instead of doing 2 laps, if he's going to try a 3.
Yeah, that would only mean, I believe, 2 more stops to the end for Apex.
Yeah.
So where's Adam?
Where if Shan's... Adam has popped out in 7th. He's just about 18 seconds off the lead. of Showman, but he's running some really nice pace, and he's still come out in front of a fair few guys who are at the back end of the field. We saw Captain and Figo pit as well, who are now back in 12th and 13th, but the end of this lap will really show where everyone is after the first round of stops.
Defco's just made a move on, is that Tate?
Yep.
Coming on to the Nords. It's a very nice move around the outside.
I've got to bring that up for a replay, I think.
Definitely.
Alrighty. On board with Stefco. Oh, he just gets a great exit. And around the outside, nice work. Yeah, great move.
And jumping back up near the front of the field, actually, we have Jonesy, who's now within half a second of that RX Vision. So both these guys having a fuel save and on some quite worn soft tyres, but the RX Vision's tyres are notably worse, almost twice as bad as the Lexus. Jonesy's got a really nice run here, but he's backing out of it. So playing the long game as Showman takes that sweeping left handle nicely. Jonesy backs off and takes it fairly safely. Showman looks like he's absolutely pushing that Nissan. You can see the dirty tyres as he comes off of that dirt as well. I don't think Jonesy's looking to pass here. I think he's looking to lift and coast using the slipstream, and maybe jump Showman in the pits.
Yeah, less fuel, needing to take that on. Definitely can get ahead of him. It is just one of those things of like, do you just hang back for a little while, just to be safe, save a bit of fuel? Because, if you put one tyre wrong, it can be race over, and it's not really worth it at times. Especially if you've got someone in front of you who does have good pace, which Showman is, putting in some decent lap times at the moment.
Yeah, surprisingly, last lap, Jonesy actually lapped almost 2 seconds quicker than Showman, 1.9 seconds faster. So even while fuel saving, just showing the Lexus has some good strength. Showman really washing wide through miss there as well. So the extreme tyre wear really starting to take effect to that Mazda, and that could be accounted for the difference in pace on lap 2.
Adam's all the way back in 6th now, just sitting here behind Tate, just basically cruising along.
That means he passed KZ somewhere along the way there.
Yeah, I'm not sure where.
Yeah.
Oh man, check it out.
He's looking. Oh, Adam, jeez. Look at it go around the outside into this sweeping left-handed Tate.
Oh, he's getting...
Goes a little deep.
Damn.
Man, Adam definitely making his intentions known here. Flashbacks to Frosty Top last week. Tate giving the indicator to Adam, letting him know if you're going to go somewhere, you're going on the right-hand side, go up the inside and get a move on.
Nice. It's good. Good racing there. Good racing.
Absolutely. And I'm assuming we'll see that gap to Stefco drop fairly rapidly as Adam chucks on the hazards as a thank you to Tate. So some very sportsman-like racing going on here. Guys knowing that Adam stopped on lap 2. These guys are trying to get a third lap out of the tank. And they're not quite on the same strategy, so fighting's not going to be too big for them at the moment. It'll just lose them more time than anything. As we're only 22 minutes into an hour and a half race. And closing up onto the back of Stefco though. He missed his turn in slightly and had to lift massively there though. We'll see what way Adam decides to try and get past Showman here. Showman dropping into the carousel late and staying fairly high. It looks like he got a little loose through there too. Oh, and he's taking some grass on the inside. Adam's going to power his way past here, using all the power that Corvette has available. And really showing the benefit of fresh tyres and being able to rev out the car and not have a lot of fuel saving to do.
He's got oil in his sights now.
He's leaving Stefco behind like it's nothing, even in the strong parts of the track for the Porsche through these twisty sections. Already that gap out to 1.1 seconds, and that gap to Oily down to 1.4. He's also taken 4.5 seconds off the lead since coming out of the pits. So definitely trying to make up for the extra stop he's going to have to take running them shorter stints. Really closing up onto the back of Oily here. I would expect Adam to sit behind until the start-finish straight and then try and make the move there, but you never know with the amount of pace he has over Oily at the moment.
So he's opened up around about 12-13 second gap between him and Apex. Mainly, I'm not sure how much Apex being stuck behind Shans is, helping or hindering.
Yeah, it's. I believe he had about that gap somewhere around there when he came in after running the softs. So that's going to be an interesting thing on when Adam decides to run those mediums and where he falls out in between Shans and Apex, who have both already got the mediums out of the way. Here we go, right on the rear bumper of Oily. Oily getting a really nice run through the first of the right-handers. But that's not going to be enough to break Adam as the power of that Corvette's finally coming through here.
Jonesy's made that jump up into first.
Yeah, it looks like he's being pushed by Showman now as well, actually.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, there's definitely some little dump loving going on there.
So Adam chose to push Oily down most of the straight and then pull out towards the end of it as to not give that GTR a chance to come back past him.
Yep.
We will see Adam retake the race lead. It'll be interesting to see the gap from Apex to the next of the three stoppers as well. We have Showman and Jonesy in the pits, Oily in the pits. Stefko is going to follow him in, as is Tate and KZ. Troy running on the smell of an oily rag as well. Squid's in. Shans is in. So Shan's running them 2-lap stints on the softs while Apex is going, well, we're not quite sure, but I think he's going for a 3-lapper looking at his fuel. As we see that gap to Adam is about 14 seconds. Oh,
it's not too bad. As long as you can keep it within around about a minute, then, yeah, if he does one less pit stop than Adam, then he's going to have that time back anyway.
Yep. So Showman, after being about 13 seconds ahead of Adam, is now 27 behind, so losing about 40 seconds in a pit stop. And that gap between Apex and Showman now out to about 13 seconds as well. So definitely ones to keep an eye on as they come through. Showman has re-jumped Jonesy in the pits by a short fueling as well.
Yeah, I wonder what he's going with that, with another just 2 stops. Maybe going 3 laps was just a little bit too much for his tyres. Found that he's just losing a bit too much time, maybe?
Maybe, because to my knowledge, there's 3 options that you can go with for this race. You can go with a 5-stopper, a 4, or a 3-stopper. And with doing a 3-lap stint, Showman can now do 2-lap stints to the end and have a 4-stop race and take the extra 40-second loss that he might have had with that extra pit stop out of the equation. So maybe suffer through the first 3-lap stint and then run them 2s and try and make up the time you lost. I feel like it leaves you a lot closer to the people that are running 3-lap stints throughout most of the race as well. And obviously the usual suspects now leading the field. I believe that's actually the Premier League Championship order currently is Adam, Apex, low side.
Yep, that is true.
So our top 3 in the Div 1 Championship, our top 3 in the race, it's only fitting in the moment. But I'm sure all of these other guys are chomping at the bit to make a change to that.
Definitely one of those things where it can change in a single corner. And there's 170 different little corners in this whole track, and every single one of them can just end your race.
Absolutely. Looks like there's a bit of a battle going on between Oily and Stefko. That too, but I'm not sure if Tate is trying to get past or not, as he had a bit of a lack of pace, but they're definitely the closest two cars on track at the moment, as the other battle has spaced out a little bit. See if Tate can get any kind of run through here. He drops to 5th to get a bit of turn in. Very easy to run wide through there. And if you run wide and clip the grass, two things are going to happen. You're either going to spin immediately, or you're going to get dragged out onto the grass and have to go rally cross for a couple of seconds. So a bit of luck involved with that. Doesn't look like... I think Tate's fuel saving a fair bit here. Doesn't have enough. He goes fairly deep into that right-hander as well. And now they have to worry about Shands as well, who's not too far behind. Troy trying to recover from a couple of rough laps. It looks like Figo has some rear damage. I was going to say, it looks like he's struggling and he's dropped back off of Stefco and Oily a fair bit, but he's picked up some rear aero damage. And he's going to have to wear that for the rest of the lap. Luckily for him, I believe he's doing 2 lap stints, so I don't think it'll change his strategy, but it is going to cost him time for the next 5 minutes. And it could see that gap to him drop with Casey and Tate running some really nice pace behind him.
So yeah,
Just
Tate
having a look around. Having a look around at, like, the in-laps at the moment, and we're seeing that Squiddy's got the slowest in-lap of 9 minutes 8. A lot of the field running about a 8 minutes 50 to 55. Seems to be that really good in-lap kind of pace.
Yeah, and then you have the Freak leading the field at the moment with a 48.6.
We don't speak of him. He ruins all our stats.
But yeah, everyone definitely trying to run in that 850 range. I think that's about where I was in a couple of practice races in the high 850s. Obviously not matching the pace of these guys, but yeah, and incredible pace from all the guys who have done that 3-lap stint as well. Just having a look at Showman, who ran a 17, Jonesy running a 15. This is all while heavily fuel saving to get a 3rd lap out of the tank. Oily with an 18. Anything under an 8:25, I reckon, is a great time if you're getting them 3 laps out of the tank for that middle time there. So great times from all these guys. It'll be really interesting to see where they all even out when the final round of stops comes in.
So if we go for little small victories here at the moment, currently on lap 3, Lowside has a faster lap than Adam by 3/10. Or was it 1/10? No, 1/10.
1/10.
Less than a tenth, actually. Less than a tenth.
Really, he's reeling it in there. He's just got he needs another 234 laps, and he'll be right there.
Oh, he'll be on for young and old after 24 hours of racing. Let's go, boys. We won't even end. We'll just keep going until we tell them to stop.
Pretty much. Looks like the battles that we did have earlier have spaced out. Tate dropping back off of KZ. KZ's actually started pushing, I think, and he's pulled in about 3 seconds on Figo, who's running with that rear damage, so that gap is falling rapidly through each of these high-speed sections. And the MR of that Alpha loves this part of the track if you can avoid the curbing, at least.
Little death curves that we have around here.
Absolutely. Very high curbs, as opposed to the normal kind of flat ones that we have in normal racetracks. Like running up the gutter on your street at home, rather than just running over a little bump.
Yeah.
Look at that gap closing. It's gone from 2.5 to 3/4 of a second, and he's going to be within striking distance coming onto that start-finish straight, if not beforehand. And Figo's going to be very hindered with that rear damage on that main straight as well, so he's going to be quite down on top-end speed, I would assume.
Yeah, be about 5 to 10 k's an hour just on the straights alone from aero.
And obviously, not having that rear aero means you don't have as much downforce through the corners as well, which can be absolutely brutal. as we see this tiny little Alpha close up on Godzilla. Oh, Figo falls out of the mini carousel as well, and KZ's just going to get it done there instead. Why wait? Will this give Figo a chance to come back at the Alpha, or is that rear aero damage going to be too much?
Might give him a chance just to hang with him. Could be advantageous for him.
Here we go. We see that gap starting to drop now, so he's definitely reeling him in.
Adam back in the pits.
12% remaining as well. So if he's going to continue to do these 2-lap stints, he can now fuel 12% less than he did last time and know that he's going to make it fairly safely. Figo's actually decided to go with the bump on KZ. So he's decided to push him along the straight, knowing he's got that rear damage and knowing he's going to be pitting this lap. There's no point flying back past him on the straight to hold him up through this last section. As Adam is emerging from the pits on his mediums. Where is he going to be in terms of with Oily? He's going to come out in front of him by about 2 seconds. That's a battle to keep an eye on as well. Oily and Stefko, and a gap to Adam of 1.5 seconds. As Figo's ducked into the pits finally.
I just want to say something quite impressive. So Adam's 2 in laps now. He did an 8:48.6 on that time now, 8:48.5. That is, for a track that's 25 k's long, having a 10th within your lap time, that's brilliant. That's hats off to you, mate. That is absolutely brilliant consistency.
That's incredible. He might be the new Mr. Robot in the league after how well he's driven throughout the season.
Yeah. I think on that we need to, request actual footage of him driving and make sure it's not a bot. Or that he isn't a bot. Is he a meme bot? That's what I want to know. Can we find that out, please?
Looks like Shans has managed to get past Tate as well at some point. So Tate unfortunately fallen backwards a fair bit. I believe trying to make them 3-lap stints work, whereas Shans on the 2-lap stints will be in at the end of this lap. Figo now a fair way back at the pack. Troy is still in 12th, losing a fair bit of time, I believe. Squiddy in 11th, 11 seconds behind that battle of Tate and Shans, who are close together. KZ's put a nice 6.5 second gap back to them as well, so he's in a little bit of no man's land, but he's got himself some breathing room. And then Stefko just closing up on the back of Oily, who is catching Adam. Though showing that 2-lap-old softs are still faster than some fresh mediums here. But the question also could be, is Adam fuel saving? And having a look at his first shift, it's past the start of the rev bar, so no. He is going all out for this stint here.
So just another 2 laps on the mediums and he'll get rid of those, back onto softs?
He was throwing a couple of strategies out there. When I was having a chat with him yesterday, he said that he felt faster doing the 5 stops, so 5 2-lap stints and 1 on the mediums.
Yep.
But last night he tested doing some 3-lap stints and then I believe it was 2 3-lap stints, 2 2-lap stints and a 1. So a 4-stopper and only doing 1 on the medium. So there's a fair few options that he can take. He hasn't set a certain strategy out there, I believe. So it could be really interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what Oily decides to do if and when he catches Adam here. Knowing he's going to be in this lap and Adam has just come out of the pits. I don't know if Oily caught that Adam was on mediums or if he knows that's why, but definitely some valuable information when you have a look at that top left-hand side of the screen as someone's coming out of the pits and you see the tyres flash to whatever they just changed onto. It's really nice to know what the guy ahead of you is running and not have to guess.
Yeah.
because without that knowledge at the moment, Oily could be saying, well, does he have damage? Is he on mediums? Is he just not comfortable? Is he fuel saving? There's like so many options. But if he saw him come out of the pits on them mediums, he knows. As Adam's just going to let Oily by. There we go. So Adam making it nice and easy. Oily going a little deep into the left-hander, but I believe this is going to help Adam as he's going to be able to fuel save, and he's probably going to get more pace out of them mediums than he would have running in front of Oily.
Yeah, and he doesn't have him completely filling his mirrors, sort of putting him off at all, which I don't know if you can put off a robot, but it is one of those good strats just to sort of let someone go, because you're not racing them right now, you're racing them at the end.
Yeah. And we talk so much of the battle for the overall time, and while this lobby might contain probably maybe, I'd say 10 of the top 15 times, if not all 13 guys that are going to be in the top 15 times here, the positions really do matter at the moment for these guys as they're competing at the very pointy end of the field and the pointy end of the league. So it's very smart to be able to save as much time as possible now for Adam, who knows that Oily's going to be in shortly on the faster compounder tyre, and not battle, and just try and get on with your overall time. Looks like they're closing up on the back of Jonesy as well. I believe I just saw him not too far ahead in the radar, just 4 seconds up the road.
Yeah, he's only like a few corners away.
Yeah. I believe Jonesy is on a longer stint at the moment. It's possibly a 3-lap stint, as he's still got about 45% fuel, whereas everyone else around him's running probably around maybe 12%. Looking at the top 3 and Oily. Oily very wide through that left-hander as well. But yeah, this being a tricky section of track for the Corvette, it's just equally as tricky in that Nissan that's not too fond of corners. When you're on a track that involves 170 of them, and a fair few of them are some low-speed ones that turbo can kick you around in, it's like walking on ice. You never know when it's going to crack.
Definitely does look a little twitchy. Just watching it.
Is he only second lap here?
Yeah, so Oily will be in at the end of this lap. He's probably got about, I'd say maybe 15% of fuel. So Oily will be in at the end of this lap, and Adam will be going around at least once more. At the very least.
That's a smart move, getting behind Oily on those mediums.
Yeah, and if he loses a tenth or two through each corner, he can make up half a tenth or a tenth on the straights with that slipstream. So really getting the most out of these mediums right now is Adam. And they've also put about 4 seconds on Stefko, who I don't know if he's made a mistake or if he's having a fuel save, as his fuel gauge is flashing. Looks like Jonesy's made his way past the captain again as well, up in third. The captain will be pitting this lap, whereas Jonesy is not. Jonesy, the only one in our top 5 that's going to be staying out here. Adam also just pushing Oily down this straight in 5th place, using the monster engine of that Corvette to just push him along. I don't even think there's a bump draft. I think he's literally just pushing him here. As we have Apex in, Showman should be in shortly. And Jonesy will take our race lead. So I believe if Jonesy keeps going the way he is, which I don't see why not, because he's just run an 8.13 while fuel saving enough to get 3 laps out of the car, which is incredible. I believe this is actually a race for position, and Adam has to get a fair way ahead of Jonesy, as Jonesy's going to have 1 or 2 stops less. I believe 2 stops at the least, because Adam has decided on that second lap on the mediums. Apex coming out about 22, 21 seconds behind Adam. Tate staying out as well. Showman emerging from the pits just behind Tate, unfortunately, which is one thing you absolutely hate, is when you come out of the pit lane and a car just ducks right across in front of you.
So I missed it. Did something happen to low side before?
Yeah.
No.
So he was up in second, like, towards the end of that lap, and then had dropped back down to about fourth. So he's been jumped by Showman and
He got
Jonesy.
passed by Jonesy, who's running a longer stints. And I think Showman was in front of him.
So Jonesy and Showman were behind him for a little bit there, because it was Cap was sitting 8 seconds behind Apex last time I checked, and then I went back to them when they were going down the straight, and Cap was now behind Jonesy and Showman.
Yeah, so at some point during the Nordschleife, I'm assuming Showman got past him, but Jonesy is just passing him due to strategy at the moment. So this will be Jonesy's in-lap, and I think Apex, Captain, and Showman will all be out for another 2 after this one. So I think it looks like, just having a quick look through some time, so Captain and Apex got their 2-lap stint out of the way in the first 2 laps of the race, and Jonesy has not. So at some point Jonesy has a 2-lap stint somewhere, and Apex and Captain are going to be running 3s to the end now, I believe. So it could be interesting to see where that evens out, what the crossover point will be, whether he'll save it for the final 2 laps or if he's going to do it earlier on. Adam catching Jonesy quite rapidly as well. Showman on the rear bumper of Tate. Showman going with the mediums as well, which he did his 3-lapper on the soft, so blows him well up onto the rear of Tate. Which side are you going? Tate moving to the right. Man, you need to have so much trust in the driver that you're trying to pass through there to be able to make a clean move, and Tate showing some great racecraft here, as we saw him let Adam by a little earlier on. He's let Showman by fairly early. He's made it clear where he was going to put the car. So some great racecraft, looking for that the fastest overall time that he can get. Captain and Oily are also lapping together. Oh man, Oily getting very close to the grass on the outside. Tate's lost it.
Tate's have no damage.
Need to keep an eye on this, but might have to queue up a replay of what happened to Tate there. He's going to have some dirty tyres coming into this left-hander, and he's going to have Oily and Captain for company.
Stick with the action, but we'll definitely go back to that once we get it.
Yeah, so I think, Captain getting loose there too, so I think Tate's trying to work off the dirt on his tyres at the moment. Also on some very worn tyres compared to the Captain and to Oily here. Interestingly, Oily only has about 60% of fuel, which is how he's gotten past Captain, while Captain's probably sitting at about 85% at the moment. Whoa! Oily definitely quite eager to get past Tate here. And he's coming up to a really... Captain's got low side. Tate's off
Front
as well.
Front arrow and suspension.
Oh no.
Gosh, so that might be the Captain losing some time. Oily's alongside Tate now.
He's through.
He's made it through. Maybe we'll quickly jump back to that replay of Tate and see what happened to him.
Alright, so we are on board. He's got Showman ahead of him, so... he's just gone wide as he was right on Showman's tail, and it's allowed Oily and Captain back on his tail, It's
unfortunate. So now the Captain is going to have Steph go for company shortly. as he's picked up aero damage before one of the most crucial parts of the track for your top end speed.
Yeah.
And that time is absolutely falling away. Defco, nowhere to go through Courage Corner though. He's just going to have to sit behind. You're a madman if you go for it through this right-hander as well. Very much a single line corner. So, and if if Stefco gets held up for too long here, they could have KZ for company shortly as well, who is running a rapid pace in that Alpha. Definitely. Oh, who's that? Troy. Troy is in the wall in 11th place. Big damage. He's got engine damage, front aero, and both front right and left suspension.
Jumping on board with heresy. Sorry, guys. Completely screwed that replay.
That's alright.
Where's his 13th? Sorry, I'll try one more time.
13th at the moment.
Yeah.
Alright, so on board Troy. Yeah, he's about to come through that, heading towards that carousel, and he's just on that hairpin. A bit too much gas and lost it into the wall. Bang.
Oh, that's really unfortunate, as Troy's direct competitor for the lead of Div 2 is currently leading the race.
No.
So Troy now has paused. I'm assuming I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm assuming he's already got 8 results, so I don't think this will directly cost him, but Jonesy is on for a cracker at the moment. Yeah, so Troy has he's got 10 results in, so having a bad round this round won't cost him too much. He just has to get through this race, not disconnect, and hope that Jonesy doesn't improve enough to get him. That's going to be very tight at the top of Div 2. Speaking of Jonesy, he is now just 2 seconds ahead of Adam. Both will be in the pits this lap. And then they have Apex for company. I believe he'll be about 15 seconds up the road once they come out of the pits. I believe Adam will be pretty happy to get off those mediums as well. Jonesy running that fuel very tight, running the softs again for the 3-lap stint. I believe he's only run softs so far. I'm trying to remember. I think he started on the softs and changed to the softs here. We'll see what he decides to come out of the pits with. Jumping back in 7th with KZ as he's just gotten past the captain. Something's happened to Tate as well, as he's also got front damage, but KZ coming up onto the rear end of Stefco. Troy has left the room. That is unfortunate there for Troy. He had been paused for a couple of minutes, so I don't believe that's a disconnect. I think that's a manual disconnect, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, right. How are the tables looking again in his division? Div 2?
So he was only ahead by 54 points.
Oh, no.
And with a disconnect penalty, that'll put him behind automatically, regardless of what his other results are. So
yeah, minus 60 points or whatever it is.
Yeah,
unless he can appeal it with a video. But I think that might be a manual disconnect, as he was paused for a good couple of minutes there. Whereas usually when we have a disconnect, it's a car flying into a wall or stopping on the track somewhere and then just disconnecting.
I think you can tell, like, if the hazards come on, you know they've hit pause and then followed by disconnect. But I think if it's an actual disconnect, the hazards don't come on. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't go ghost the car or anything like that. It's literally car's there 1 minute and the next it just disappears.
Yep.
It's unfortunate. Look, I understand exactly how he feels. It is that kind of track. I may have had the exact same experience.
The punch in the nutsack, was it, or something along those lines?
Yep, it's the beating of the gentleman's sausage in the non-pleasurable way. It's like having an argument with someone that doesn't get what you're trying to say.
We might have a nice battle shaping up here for 3rd place. So we have Jonesy and Adam fresh out the pits, and Oily on his second lap of the stint, stuck in between them. So it could be an interesting one to keep an eye on.
It'll be interesting to see what goes on with Adam in this one. If he stays behind, he's starting to lose time now to Apex. But if he can break through and start making that push again for the front,
it looks like Adam's fuel saving now.
Maybe 3 softs.
Yes.
Oily's on
So
softs
Adam,
as well, right?
Adam is back on the softs, but is fuel saving for a 3-lap stint.
Yeah.
If you can, if you hear in his gear shifts when he has to shift up, obviously he's on 6th gear all through here for about the next 15 seconds, but when he does have to upshift, you will hear it very early, and it'll just clunk into gear and be a dull roar from that powerful engine of the Corvette, really short shifting before anything even appears on the rev gauge. There it is, the very early shifts. So he'll be looking probably to stick behind Oily here, I would assume. Use a bit of slipstream to try and save some fuel. Use the slipstream to get some lift and coast going. Maybe even some fuel map adjustments, but in the meantime, they're also closing up on the back of Jonesy. So it's a win-win for Adam at the moment, but Jonesy also getting his medium stint out of the way now. And actually, just jumping on board with Jonesy, we can see Showman in the distance, so this group's really starting to group up, yeah.
That's
so from
good.
5th to 2nd, only separated by about 5 seconds at the moment.
Nice.
After 55 minutes of racing almost.
That's what you want to see on this track, because it was definitely spreading out at the beginning, but the pit stops have brought everyone back together again.
Yeah, the different strategies all starting to mesh, seeing where everyone comes out. So I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe the difference between Adam and Apex right now is what Adam has to make up before the end of the race to beat him in overall time, with Adam having to do one more pit stop. I could be wrong with that, but I believe this is the gap he has to make up.
Yep.
So
Man, this could be good.
17 seconds in about 4-5 laps. Gosh, I can't count.
Yeah, 4 laps.
Yeah, 4.5. So he's got plenty of time to make it happen. It's just whether he can get it done and keep it clean.
Oh, shit. I'm just thinking back to your comments in Discord. That just cracked me up so hard, man, when we exited that race. Oh,
yeah, nope. I was done.
Oh, man.
Totally done.
It definitely looked like a rough one. I dropped into the stream a couple times throughout, and a fair few of the times I saw you either into the wall or with some damage.
No, it's not pleasant. Not pleasant.
Yeah,
hopefully I don't recreate that later on.
we caught it on the stream, went to the replay, and we saw the disconnect as well. And then, checking Discord after was just gold.
Yeah, I went back and watched over the stream and then had a good laugh when you were like, oh, he's into the wall at Coburn Corner. I'm like, nah, I was into the corner. I was way before
Jonesy's
that.
around. No! Spun on them mediums. Luckily stayed ghosted in front of Adam and Oily here, but that is a tough spot to have to recover as KZ slips by him as well.
He's at KZ ahead as well.
He had to get going again while facing up the carousel, so that was a very tricky way. He did well to flick it around. Jonesy, I believe, was on track for competing for top 3, at least in this lobby at the pace he was going at, but now pretty much setting Adam and Oily free. He was reeling in Showman fairly quickly as well, had the gap down to 2 seconds to Showman, so I believe we will see Showman. Absolutely. It's always worth it.
Replay his pain.
Here we go.
He is very lucky to have no damage. Very good.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it looks like going through it on their mediums just caught him out after being so used to the softs through there. And he's now got Stefco for company on some softs very close behind.
Yeah, bad luck.
So yeah, he's given way to Oily, Adam, KZ, and now has to deal with Stefko close behind. Adam has done really well to keep with oil here while fuel saving. So at the start of the lap, we remember Adam was close behind Oily. Oh, he's pushed deep into there though, unfortunately, but
So he's doing
he was quite close behind Oily.
He's doing the
I believe Adam's on a 3 at the moment.
Oh, is he?
I believe that's why his fuel saving so heavy. Right now, he still has he still has over 70% of fuel in the tank at this point of the lap.
I must have missed that earlier. What were we saying about him testing both strats during the week?
Yeah, so he was testing doing a 3 and then 2s to the end, or he was testing doing, I think, 2 3-lap stints, 2 2-lap stints, and a 1, I believe.
Okay.
But he did 2 on mediums, so I think he's going to be getting 1 3-lap stint out of the way, and then maybe back to 2s. There's a lot of things can change it. He won't be in this lap, whereas Oily will be, as will Showman. Apex is going around another time. But I believe Showman is getting a 2-lap stint on his mediums out the way here. So that'll match him up with Jonesy, and I believe they'll be in the same pit strategy. It'll be interesting to see where the captain ends up in all of this as well. So we have Oily, KZ, Showman, and Stefko all jumping into the pits there. Jonesy staying out. And we see that gap now down to about 16 seconds between Adam and Apex.
So even though he sat behind... Yep, Captain Jonesy.
So where is anyone going to come out right in front of the captain? It doesn't look like it. He's going to stream past. I believe I saw Showman coming out of the pits shortly there.
Showman and Oily are coming out basically inside each other.
That gives him a little bit of a nudge there too.
I hope Oily has a good race here, because he was starting up the back, wasn't he? And but he's been pretty consistent. Look at this. Yeah,
Oily's done really well. Sticking his nose up the inside of the RX Vision. Showman having none of it there, though. So it looks like they've come out well ahead of KZ and Stefko. So that's Oily's deep into the hairpin. Showman with a nice little cutback.
Bit of contact.
He's got the run out of the corner as well, and Showman's going to have to concede that spot. So really nice battling between these two here. It'll definitely be interesting to see what strategy these guys are running from here out. This is where it all will start to come together at about lap 9.
Yeah, great driving there, Oily. Nice work.
So I think, well, I know we'll be seeing Apex in this lap. I think Adam will be in at the end of 9 and then running a 2 to the end, if my maths is correct here.
Yeah, he's going to have to, both of them are going to have to pit at least one more time, so he has the 4 laps to try and make up that 15 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, and if Apex pitting this lap will mean he's got to fuel save enough to get 3 laps out of the car, whereas Adam pitting and doing a 2-lap stint means he's going to be red hot, chasing him down for those final 2 laps. So that's definitely going to be something to keep an eye on.
And bring it on.
So both with at least 1 stop to go and a 15-second gap for Adam to try and make up, which is incredible because he started off with a 14-second gap as well.
How's Jonesy going to be affected with his 360 on the carousel? He's in 3rd at the moment. But,
well, I think luckily for him, he only lost about 5-ish seconds. But him and Captain are on the same strategy. Jonesy obviously on the mediums, but both will be in this lap and then running a 3 to the end. Oily, I think, is going... he'll be in at the end of next lap, I believe, and then running a 2 to the end. Showman has plenty of fuel, so he could be running a 2 and then another 2. But yeah, I don't think it's going to cost Jonesy too much overall, but it definitely could cost him something in the final standings after everyone's done. But I don't think it's going to cost him too many spots in this race.
Yeah, right, man. It's pretty amazing how you're able to keep track of everyone's pit strategies and know where it's all at, man. We're relying on you for where this is all going to end up last few laps.
Yeah, I try to track it best I can. Yeah, so we know that pretty much Adam will be out for another 2 laps. Apex, Jonesy, and Captain will all be in at the end of this lap. And that's about all I can confirm in terms of these guys. Hopefully everyone can make it through clean. Luckily we haven't seen too much damage throughout the field up to this point.
So Squidly's a couple of seconds behind Figo, so Figo doesn't have the greatest of
Squidly taking a lot of
races
curb
here
on
tonight.
So I believe Figo picked up, he had that rear damage that cost him a little bit, and he had to carry that for a fair bit of the lap. Just trying to look at his lap times and see, I believe it was lap 3, we can see an 8:22, whereas the next lap he's done an 8:14, so really showing how much it's cost him there.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I mean, it's a lot of limitations with time on a lot of the members here. Unfortunately, Rexy with a baby, and I mean, it's just life gets in the way sometimes, man. But Flygo's one of the quick ones. It's just unfortunate we've seen him at the back and of a fair few races this season.
Yeah.
But doing well to stick with the Premier League guys.
Yeah, while he's been kind of in the mid to rear of the Premier League, that's I mean, that's not an easy thing to do. The Premier League is becoming more and more competitive through the season, so it's definitely a hard thing to stay regular in that, as we've seen a couple of guys like Zoo and Rexy Ben be dropped out of the Premier League.
It's like Rexy was saying the other night when we were streaming, last weekend when we were streaming the E-League guys. It's just, you know, depending on how much practice you're able to put in each week. Like last season, him and Vintage's team, like they did so well because they all had the time. But you know, anything can change from season to season. You know, your work shifts change, or you have a baby in Rex's case. And all of a sudden you just can't put in the hours.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the case for everyone really, and unfortunately, you know, you can see yourself drop out of form. I felt that a little bit myself, where I kind of only show up on the day of now and am able to get laps in. Luckily, I was able to find some time yesterday to get one practice race in, but throughout the week I'm run off my feet pretty much after work and all. So
you do pretty well for just jumping on
Stefco
with minimal practice, but very Stefco things.
So Stefco just got a big slide on through the right-hander. I don't know if you want to get a replay of it or not, but he got a very big slide on as you come through YouTube corner in the left-hander. Yeah, it's behind KZ at the moment. Got the left-hander coming up. Ball's looking well at the moment. Oh, just coming off the grass a little. It wasn't too bad. Yeah, he's good car control there. Done well to recover it. Yeah. So we see him catching up to KZ now as well. He's fallen out of the mini carousel early though, and it's cost him about half a second by the looks of it. Okay. So it's such
Apex
a
is into
small
the pits.
little thing. Yep. In with one, Adam is staying out one more. Yep. And then we'll see Jonesy and the captain follow Apex in.
So over the course of that one lap, Adam managed to close in about 4 seconds.
Wow.
While fuel saving too.
Yeah.
That's
again, should we have him sign into each race with a capture? Maybe? Just saying?
Might have to have him stream his webcam or something so we can see.
Yeah, it's like, here's a bunch of pictures. Which one are traffic lights? Just random question. You might just start doing that to him. It's like, hey man, is this a traffic light? And just send a picture of a tree.
Yeah.
Looks like a traffic light.
Oh man.
Okay, here we go. So Apex is out of the pits about 27 seconds behind Adam. And we learned earlier that you lose just under 40 in your pit stop. So one thing that could change that is the fact for Adam that he only has to do a 2-lap stint next. So he could underfuel. We saw him come in with 12, 15 litres of fuel sometimes while he was doing them. So he could save a couple of seconds in the pits there. But that 26-second gap, I'm assuming, will come down as Adam's having a fuel save for this third lap. Whereas Apex is running his standard strategy where he is fuel saving for that third lap, but the Porsche seems to handle it really nicely.
So we're in third. Definitely, I'm assuming he's got another pit stop.
Yep. Oily is in one more time, and we'll have a 2-lap stint to the end. So I believe the only people that are fueled and good to go to the end currently is Apex, Jonesy, and I think Lowside down in 11th. While that does seem like a long way back for the captain, he is going to make up a fair bit of that time when everyone else has to duck into the pits and take that 35 to 40 second loss. So he's going to make up a fair bit of places there. I believe we'll see the captain in the top 5 at the end of the lap when everyone ducks into the pits.
It's a very good recovery considering the amount of damage he had.
Yeah,
like it wasn't as bad as Troy, but it's still carrying front suspension damage for most of a lap isn't fun.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's going to be great to watch. He's going to be teaming up with Moltenash commentary for Division 2, I believe, which will be airing later in the week. Great combo there, so yeah, looking forward to the other streams. We've got 3 more races this week to wrap up the Division, the round 12 of Season 7.
Yeah, so it's we got Div 3 going at the moment, but since this will be a delayed broadcast, you would have seen Div 2 yesterday, and hopefully I won it.
Oh, congratulations on that. That was such a good race, mate. I don't know how you did it at the end, but
really,
12
really
laps on softs.
Yeah.
With one tank of fuel.
Fuel map 6, 6th gear the whole time. It was an incredible master strategy by myself. But it'll be really good to close out the season with the Premier League stream on the Wednesday. Unfortunately, won't be able to watch it and enjoy, as I hate the sound of my own voice and it makes me want to headbutt a door. But I hope everyone watching is enjoying the action we're bringing. As Stefko and Showman now are very close together in 5th and 6th. So it seems like Stefko is all 3 of them actually. Yeah. So KZ just 3 seconds up the road. So all these guys working together in real life and all joined the league together. All started as privateers. Showman and KZ decided to stay on while Stefko got picked up by the leftovers and took on the Porsche. And all have done really well. I believe they're sitting 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in D-League at the moment, with only Tate in between them.
Yeah, we've got 4 or 5 new members up in Premier League tonight.
Yeah. So these guys really boosting how much it's going to take to try and crack into the Premier League if you are right on that marker where you're either in or you're out. That Div 2, kind of top Div 2, bottom of Premier League area.
How good was KZ's epic race at Autopolis? Was it last weekend?
Yeah, when we saw Captain Chokeside appear, and we saw the spin as he took the lead. Yeah.
Tell you what, man.
Well, unfortunately, I gave when I first talked to him, I gave myself the nickname of Stupid Dragon. So Captain Chokeside is my return to him 1.5 seasons later.
That's great.
It was incredible after that overtaking around the outside of that downhill right-hander. It was an incredible move, and then off at Stefko corner around for a spin to give it back. As we see Stefko having a look on Showman here, that Mazda absolutely penetrating everyone's ears as Showman refuses to shift into 6th. Oh my goodness, that was painful for a second there.
Captain back in 11th, sitting on the arse end of Figo. Coming down the back
Shen's
straight.
Closing up on Tate too, so we've got a couple of guys really closing up. Shen's closing up very quickly on the back of Tate, actually. So I think Tate is in heavy fuel save mode here to try and make it through this lap. Captain is still on that rear bumper Figo, so after not having much action for a while, we've got 3 battles all forming up at the one time. So the key thing between the Captain and Figo here is Figo has to pit at the end of this lap, whereas the Captain is going to the end. So, I mean, obviously it's hard to keep track of it if you're a driver to know that the guy behind you's fueled to the end, but could be tricky there for Figo, and that battle between Tate and Shans, they'll both be in at the end of this lap as well, so that I believe we'll be seeing that onto the finish depending on how everything goes for them. But the cars really start to space out through this section of the track as we get to the higher speed stuff. Maybe some guys deciding to lift off a little early and play it safe, as it's harder to spot your turn-in points and your braking markers when you're close behind another car. The Captain not taking that advice from the other guys though, and is sitting right on that rear bumper of Figo. As they're closing up on Tate and Shens too. Well, Figo just putting 2 wheels in the dirt there through the first left-hander, running wide through YouTube corner as well.
Nice work. Low side.
Unleashing the Captain.
And now he is free to try and chase down Shans and Tate. I believe the best possible scenario for the Captain here would be to get within slipstream range of these 2 ahead, and get a nice tow along that back straight, and then have them duck off into the pits. Jumping. I'm just keeping an eye up at the top of the field. We've got Adam coming through the final sector at the moment to take his final stop, and Apex has reeled in about 6 seconds.
Yeah, nice.
That lap. So Apex gaining a whole lot through there, and it's going to be a hell of a task for Adam to try and make up that gap now.
Oh, this is going to be great.
So I wonder if Adam's had a bit of a squirrely moment there, because he lost a good 5 seconds.
Where is he?
Something's happened with Tate there in 11th.
Okay, let's jump on board. Here we go. On board with Tate, coming through the carousel, gone wide, scraped the wall, and oh wow, he's let 2 cars through, and a third almost. Yeah, Figo gets 2 as well. Wow, dropped 3 positions on that last carousel, and into the grass. Not good.
Yeah, so he has avoided damage, but he has lost out a lot of spots there, has Tate, and that lead that he has on D-League could be slipping away a little bit, as KC is having an absolute cracker of a race at the moment.
So what? So does Apex does another pit stop? Adam V's 20 seconds back.
So our top 3, our top 4 now are all going to the end.
Wow. Can't see that.
This is the last stop of the race for everyone, I believe. I mean, if there's a track to do it, this is the one. As we see that.
Wow.
He has fueled all the way up, and he is going to be absolutely revving the nuts off of that Corvette, trying to get it around for those 2 laps and take off as much time as possible.
Man. Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. So the advantages he will have is not having a fuel save, and he has the 1 lap pressure tyres, which doesn't sound like much, but when the lap is 25 kilometres, it can be quite a drastic difference. And the tyre wear's on what, times 5? So one 25 kilometre lap is what, 150 or something like that, 125 Ks?
Yeah.
Something like that, so...
I think tyres are 4 times and fuel's 5, isn't it?
I thought it was the other way. I'm not entirely sure. I just show up and race.
Fair enough.
Looks like the battle between Figo and Shan's starting to heat up as well. So Shan's closing up on the back of Figo, and also Squiddy finally having someone to play with, just 1 second behind Tate to try and get out of that last spot.
So just checking, tyre wear is 5 times.
There we go. So
yep.
wow.
I think Squidly's signal, he's wanting someone to play with.
Single with baggage being the kids. But we see already 2 minutes into the lap, Adam has taken a second out of Apex. So
yeah, that's going to be.
It's going to be tough, but I think it's going to be one to keep a close eye on.
Yeah,
Got Shant and Figo still going together as well. A big gap ahead of them up to Stefko. So this is probably the highest position that these guys can hope for without some damage playing a part up in the field. So you have Figo, Shans, and I would throw Tate and Squiddy in there as well. They're about 6 seconds back, but a lot of things can happen around the Nordschleife, as we've seen.
So Shans did a really great qualifying lap. Not sure where that, can't remember where that put him on the grid today, but yeah, to be back in 10th, not sure what's happened there.
Yeah, so Shan started in 8th. So even though he put in an absolute cracker of a time,
Serious?
he
That put him
had...
back in 8th?
Well, even more of a shock is Tate started second. He started on the front row of the grid.
Oh no.
And is running down at 11th currently. So Tate's had a fairly rough one. Another big loser has been Troy, who started 7th and unfortunately after getting some big damage decided to drop out. I think the biggest winner at the moment is Oily, who started 13th and is now running in 4th. So Oily
Awesome
has
effort,
nailed his strategy here.
That's great.
Managed traffic well. One thing that could be interesting towards the end of the race here is there's a 2-second gap back from Captain to KZ. And Captain is on the 3-lap stint to the end, whereas KZ is running a 2 as he gets very close to the grass coming through miss hit miss. So KZ going to be on them fresh tyres. I believe it's the equivalent to being 125 kilometres less wear on the tyres if it's 5 times around this track, something like that. So it's quite a number.
Yeah. I don't know, I just rock up and commentate.
Alright. So, even though it's not so much in this race, but point-wise, with Troy dropping out, now Div 2 comes down to Jonesy and Ando for the win.
Yes.
With, what is that, a 37-point difference between them overall.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting to see how well Ando can do in Div 2.
He's been doing really well lately.
Yeah, Ando, I don't know what he did, but he somehow sorted his disconnect issue that he was having earlier on in the season.
Yep.
And found a bit of luck also. I do remember, I think it was the first time I spoke to him was before the All-States round in the Group 2s. And he put in a really good qualifying and I believe was up in the top 3, and then he got turned around about a minute into the race. And he went dead silent from the rest of the race, and then as the race finished, he dropped quite a few F-bombs, left the chat, and he told me he dropped quite a few more afterwards before asking what the penalty is for leaving. the lobby. So, also, this was a really tough round for Ando, but he's absolutely got incredible pace, and I believe he could be challenging Div 1 drivers absolutely next season if he can keep his current streak and his disconnects to a minimum.
Definitely. This gap, Adam V, is now down to 16 seconds.
So he's taken 3.5 off him.
It's not going to be enough, is it?
Not at this rate, no.
Unless
He's going to have to drop about 10 seconds
really
a lap.
fall off.
Yeah.
I can't see it happening, but they could be on for a very competitive time here, though.
Oh, and he's off. Apex has just come off at the mini carousel. No damage, though.
Get a replay of that one.
Definitely.
Spice this up to finish the race here.
Apex. He's got the left-hander here coming into the carousel now. Yeah, he's just gone over the top of it and skimmed the wall. That's it. Played it safe. No damage. Lost a second or two.
So in the end, he ended up losing about 4. So that gap to Adam now down to 12.
Okay.
And while we're on this straight, do you want to get that pure axle comparison up and see where he's sitting as he comes down through this final sector in comparison to Apex?
Right, so there we go. So pure axles coming through the last. They are almost identical. This is crazy.
Okay, so keep an eye on it as they come across the start-finish line here.
So Apex and Pure Axel running. So Apex is slightly ahead. He's just gone under the bridge, like a second ahead of Apex's time.
There we go. So that could be very interesting for the overall points.
Yeah.
Even with that 4-second loss that Apex had, and actually, I mean, what was it Adam had to make up? 10 seconds a lap?
Now,
well, that gap,
starting
turn 1, is down to 10 seconds, so he has made up 10 seconds in that first lap. Given Apex did make a mistake and lose about 4, but
Adam, 170 corners, he can make another mistake.
Yep, it's been a long race. We're currently an hour and 25 into this, starting our final lap.
That's unbelievable. So yeah, Pure Axel is a second ahead.
They wave at each other as they go past each other on the track there, across the safety barriers. He can see his target. That's a good thing for Adam now. He's been able to now see Apex on the other side of the track, and he knows that all he has to do, keep it clean, and he is within striking distance.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound like much, but just seeing a glimpse of their name up ahead and knowing you're catching them can be... Well, it can work one of two ways. It can either make you push too hard, or it... usually in my case, I just get so much determination to catch them that I'll break a meter or two later, I'll break a little less, I'll take some more Apex speed. So my driving style is usually fairly safe, and I can brake a little later for pretty much every braking zone if I want that speed, but I prefer to take the safer option. But once I see that car ahead of me, I want it. I want that spot.
The red mist descends.
Absolutely. As some of the guys who were in Dojo chat during the Autopolis round will know, as I was chasing down Cloakade for 22 laps, I got stuck behind him. And I got past him, I think, with 2 or 3 laps to go, and ended up putting about a second a lap on him. So it really showed that if I could have made that move earlier on, I probably could have been a fair way up the field from it. But I had some choice words to say as soon as I was behind him, and for 22 laps, people had to listen to me bitch and moan.
So we've already had a second and a half taken out of the gap between Apex and Adam.
Yeah.
And they haven't even come to the compression
Adam's
yet.
run wide. Whoa, that was very, very close by Adam. He's going to lose a bit of time to Apex there. I think he dropped 2 wheels on the grass coming through that double right-hander, and then did the same as he tried to recover, dipping 2 tyres on the right-hand side of the grass as well.
We should, let's have a quick scan of the rest of the
run
field.
Through the field. Yeah, so we'll
come back to this, definitely.
We'll start off with Apex, and that just over 8-second gap. Adam with 16 seconds over Jonesy now. So Jonesy doing well even though he had that spin. Jonesy with 11.5 seconds to Oily. Oily has 6.5 seconds back to KZ, who's managed to make his way past the captain. Captain 1.5 seconds back from him. Showman running in that beautiful RX Vision, 3.6 behind the captain, 5.6 up on Stefko in the leftovers Porsche. Stefko has just under 24 seconds back to Figo, who has managed to get clear of Shands. So Figo's now got 3 seconds back to Shands. Tate 2 seconds behind Shands as well, so Tate making up some time, and unfortunately for Squidly has lost probably about 9 seconds to Tate in that last lap. But still pulling in a decent time, only being a minute and a half off the lead after almost an hour and a half of driving.
Alrighty.
I definitely think, it's dropping pretty quickly. I think that's probably going to be the main focus at the moment, as the rest of the field is fairly spread out. But we'll keep half an eye on Shands and Tate, see if that gap changes at all, and possibly Captain, and see where he ends up as well, as he's in between KZ and Showman. But maybe we'll jump on board with Adam as he comes through for the next minute or two, and see how he comes through and approaches the carousel section and the fast-flowing tight twisties as he tries to take that time out of Apex here. And you can see on the straight here that time is just dropping down, now down to 6.6, now down to 6.5, so he's taken a couple of tenths out of him on the straight. You can really see where the Porsche's struggling due to maybe power, maybe some fuel saving from Apex.
Yeah, there's about a 5k difference between the two by the end of that straight, so he's definitely able to get a better run on these longer sections, but thankfully the twisty part's coming up, which is where the Porsche will shine.
Yeah, and it'll help Apex being fuel saving in those twisty parts as well.
Yeah.
As you're not going to lose as much. You can kind of hold a little bit more Apex speed and plant the power a little earlier if you are fuel saving it in a higher gear or up in the fuel map or something like that. As we see the gap drop below 6 seconds. Now down to 5.5. Oh, Adam's run wide, so he's pushing very, very hard. Coming through here. He is 1.2 seconds purple on that 809 that he set on the opening lap of the race as well. Okay, seeing that gap sit around that 5.5 second mark. I don't think Adam's doing enough at the moment to be able to make it up. He's doing plenty, and he is absolutely ripping around the track.
Apex is quite slow through YouTube corner as well, so he's lost almost a second just there.
Oh, it's down to 4.
Yeah, it's under 5 seconds.
You can
Adam
see Apex
is
ahead.
absolutely ripping this Corvette a new one. Just checking back in with Tate and Shands as well. Tate is right on the rear bumper of Shands as they come through the carousel. Oh, Shan's getting a much better exit out of it though.
The fuel lights come on for Apex.
There we go, so that's 10% fuel remaining. Just plenty to make it home.
This reminds me of that FIA race where Nicholas McCosey chasing
Adam
down.
fell out of the mini carousel. So I think that's going to be it.
Yeah,
He
kept it on the track though.
Lost him some time. It's down to 4 seconds, but I mean, I think we just have to stick with these two for now, regardless of what happens with Tate and Shands, as these guys are going to come through and finish off our Premier League race. But
oh man, what a strap by Apex. That's huge. Like, the way Adam V was pulling away at the start of the race, but this has just done a 180 flip, and Adam V out in front.
And Adam to make up almost 17 seconds we're coming up on in 2 laps is ridiculous. That is stupid pace. But we'll keep an eye on Apex here as he comes through the final right-left. Flips the Apex nicely. Get on that power nice and early. Small lift to keep it off the wall. And he's on the start-finish straight. Bring it onto the pit wall. Take that checkered flag. Congratulations,
Awesome
Apex Humper. Well done to Adam V with a solid second place. And Jonesy, who I believe will be taking the lead of Div 2 with this result. Only 24 seconds off the lead. And that's an incredible effort from Jonesy. He's pretty happy. Give himself a nice little swerve on the straight. We got Oily shortly behind, just 8 seconds back.
Yeah, great job, Oily.
Awesome job, starting in 13th. KZ is going to take 5th. An awesome showing from KZ here.
Nice work as well.
Nice
Captain's
recovery from
claim
low
a
side.
solid 6th place with a beautiful spin across the line. Showman's going to take 7th. Stefko is going to claim 8th place in that leftovers Porsche. Doesn't look like anyone's going to beat Adam's lap 1 pace, which is ridiculous in itself. But we have Figo here coming through the last right-hander, through the left. Big lift there, nice and safe. Not the time to mess it up. As he takes the checkered flag here. Shan's not too far behind. He has been able to hold off Tate, luckily for him. Tate is going to put it into the wall and pick up some damage right before the line. Not happy with himself there. And Squidly will claim a solid 12th place here as he approaches the line at a 1 hour 34.9 about. So, great job by all our Premier League drivers here. Congratulations to Apex, Adam, and Jonesy as well on the podium. And Jonesy,
and Troy, who, I mean, even though Troy...
the top end of that too.
Definitely, but I mean, even though Troy pulled out of the race, he's had a great season. Great season.
He has. He's definitely established himself as a Premier League driver.
Definitely. Well, boys, that's season 7 done and dusted.
Yeah. All over. It's been a long one. As Tate asks if we want to change the track. Yeah, it's been a long season, and we've had plenty of new guys join and make an impression at the top end, at the pointy end of the field, which is great to see.
Yeah. So we got season 8 kicking off in about 4 or 5 weeks, and the draft for season 8, which will be in about a week or 2. So yeah, we've got some links at the bottom of the screen at the moment for anyone wanting to join for season 8. So just head to those URLs, and season 8 kicking off in about 5 weeks.
Absolutely, and everyone's pretty nice in the Discord. As long as you can avoid Kingston, you'll do it right.
I hear he's annoying. He's a really annoying person, that one. Can't stand him. It's a very good community. It's one of those things that, you always like coming back to it, opening up the Discord and see what shenanigans are actually going on at the moment.
Absolutely. And it's mostly, the seasons are decided mostly by community polls. All the tracks will be decided shortly by the same thing.
Bring back Spa.
I did see Spa was quite up there in the votes, as well as Bathurst. Wow, big shocker. As I think season 7 here was the first wheel-to-wheel season without a Bathurst appearance, and we're straight back into it.
Yeah.
But
I still want to go BB Raceway and some like little rallycross cars.
I saw
it never
BB
gets used, that
Raceway
track.
got a solid 2 votes, so we're getting it done. I was one of them. I hope you were the other.
Yeah, there's probably like the 2 people that know it exists.
Yeah, the sad reality is that Special Stage Route X got more votes than BB Raceway.
Why? What is with you people? Vote for BB.
We will end it off on that one. A big thank you to Kingston for joining me here on commentary.
Thanks, Evan.
And a big thank you to Fine Moves for doing visuals throughout the season and running the admin for the league throughout season 7.
Yeah, no worries. And just a quick shout out to the sponsors as well. I think they are providing some prizes either this season or end of the year. So we've got Next Level, Pagnian and races. So
We also have,
Thanks to
I
our
believe,
sponsors.
Future Youth Streetwear.
Yep.
I believe they're giving away team t-shirts
t-shirts
to the
for the
winning
winning
team
team.
of the championship here. So
Yeah.
I believe that's going to be going to 13R. So I'm sure they'll be pretty stoked with that one. I'm sure that's the only reason why they won. They wanted the shirts. But yeah, no, it's been a really great season, and I'm looking forward to season 8.
And we've got the off season kicking off next week. So if any new members want to sign up, jump in for our off season, and then we've got season 8 again kicking off in about 4 weeks. So thanks, boys.
No worries.
Yeah, thank you very much, and we will hopefully see you guys later.
Nice. All right. See you guys.
Peace.